For many investors, including myself, paying rent or a mortgage can be one of the most significant monthly expenses, and oftentimes leaving little room for saving or investing. However, what if there was a way to strategically select monthly paying dividend stocks that could literally cover your entire rent or mortgage on a monthly basis? In this video, we are going to explore 5 different monthly paying dividend stocks that have a proven track record of consistent dividend payouts, solid financial performance, and the potential for long-term growth. On top of that, we are going to see how many shares of each of these holdings an investor would need to own for the dividends to cover your entire rent or mortgage every single month. Now stay tuned because we're going to go through all this and more. Right after you, please drop a like in this video and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Now, before we go through these 5 different monthly paying dividend stocks that you could easily invest into in order to help cover your entire rent, let's first look into the data and see how much the average rent in the US currently is. So as of most recently, it looks like the average rent as of February 2023 is around $1,300 and let's say $1,350. So what we're going to be doing is trying to find different monthly paying dividend stocks that offer safe dividends, potential future growth, and figure out how many shares of whatever stock it is we would need to invest into in order for the dividends to cover the rent every month. The first monthly paying dividend stock that could definitely cover your rent or mortgage is Realty Income Corporation, ticker symbol O. Now, Realty Income is known as the monthly dividend company. It's an S&P 500 company and a member of the Dividend Aristocrat Index. Realty Income is structured as a real estate investment trust and offers monthly dividends that are supported by cash flow from over 12,400 real estate properties, primarily owned under triple net lease agreements. Now, to date, Realty Income has declared 634 consecutive monthly dividends. So if we were to go over here to the calculator and type in $1,350, which is the average rent in the United States, and divide it by Realty Income's monthly paid dividend amount, which is 26 cents per share per month, we would need around 5,192 shares of Realty Income in order to have your rent covered by the dividends every single month. Now, Realty Income is currently roughly at $58 per share, which means an investor would need to invest around $301,153 into Realty Income in order to have their rent covered forever. The next monthly paying dividend stock is Main Street Capital, or ticker symbol MAN, Main. Now, Main Street Capital is a business development company and one of the best in its field. Main specializes in equity capital to lower middle market companies, and the firm specializes in things like recapitalizations, management buyouts, refinancing, and other. Now, one of the great things about Main Street Capital specifically for an investor that wants to find a high quality monthly payer in order to use the dividends to cover their entire mortgage or rent on a monthly basis is the fact that Main Street Capital has a starting dividend yield of over 7%. 7.23% is Main Street Capital's forward dividend yield as of last. And with Main offering around a 23-cent per share per month dividend. Heading back over to the calculator, if we take $1,350 divided by 23 cents, we would need around 5,869 shares of Main in order to have our rent, in theory, completely covered. Now, Main Street Capital as of last is trading at around $38 per share, which means this investor would only need around $223,000 in order to have Main Street Capital's dividends completely cover your rental payment every month. Now, of course, the reason you would need so much less Main compared to something like Realty Income is because Main Street Capital's starting dividend yield is just that much higher. But next, we have an even higher starting yield option. This is JP Morgan's Equity Premium Income ETF, known as JEPI. This is actually an ETF that also pays a monthly dividend every single month. So JEPI is an exchange-traded fund that was launched and managed by JP Morgan Asset Management, Inc. JEPI invests in public equity markets and invests through derivatives and stocks of companies operating across diversified sectors. This ETF also uses derivatives such as options to create the portfolio. And with the JEPI ETF, the dividend yield as far as trailing 12 months is around 11.05%. The last announced dividend was 37 cents, and that was announced just last month. Back over to the calculator, if we were to take $1,350 divided by 37 cents, which is how much JEPI paid as far as the last month's dividend, we would need around 3,648 shares of JEPI in order to have our rent completely covered. Now, JEPI's been recently trading at around $54 per share, which means we would just need $197,027 and some change invest it into this ETF in order to have our rent covered on a monthly basis. The fourth monthly paying dividend stock is another one that I've actually held for a while, and I personally hold all these in my portfolio. This is STAG Industrial, ticker symbol STAG. Now, STAG is a REIT focused on the acquisition, ownership, and operation of industrial properties throughout the U.S. STAG Industrial seeks to identify properties for acquisition that offer a relative value across all locations, industrial property types, and STAG Industrial has some of the highest quality tenants in the game. Now, STAG Industrial currently offers a 4.29% forward dividend yield, so not as high as the last few, but still offers a very good start. Now, STAG Industrial offers around 12 cents paid per share per month, and like the rest of the options so far, has a long-term history of paying dividends on time. Now, back over to the calculator, if we were to take $13.50 divided by 12 cents, which is what STAG pays on a monthly basis, this investor in theory would need around 11,250 shares of STAG in order to completely have their rent covered by the dividend. Now, STAG has been trading at around $34 per share, more or less, which means if this investor wanted to go with STAG Industrial, they would need around $382,500 in order to have STAG Industrial's dividend completely pay for their rent. Now, the last option that an investor could invest into in order to have the dividend completely cover their rent on a monthly basis is another ETF, the Simplified Volatility Premium ETF, known as SVOL. Now, this ETF was launched and managed by Simplified Asset Management, Inc. It invests in public equity and fixed income markets in the U.S. For its equity portion, the fund invests directly through derivatives in stocks of companies operating across diversified sectors, and then it employs a short strategy that uses derivatives such as futures and options to create the overall portfolio. Now, the crazy thing about SVOL is, of course, the dividend. The trailing 12-month dividend yield for SVOL is 16.81%, and SVOL, as of late, has paid 32 cents per share per month. So if we were to divide $13.50, which is our rent, by SVOL's monthly dividend, 32 cents per share, we would need 4,218 shares of SVOL in order to have our rent completely covered. Now, SVOL is currently trading at around $23 per share, which means this investor in theory would need only $97,031 invested into something like SVOL in order to have their rent completely covered. Now, for dividend investors out there that are slowly looking to have their dividend payments cover either a portion or their entire bills on a monthly basis, of course, monthly paying dividend stocks and ETFs are a great option. But it's also important to note that just because a stock does pay a dividend on a monthly frequency, it does not mean necessarily that it's any better or any worse than a stock that pays a dividend on a quarterly frequency or even a semi-annual frequency. If anything, the monthly paying dividend stocks could just be more convenient for the specific investor's lifestyle. So those are 5 different stocks and or ETFs that do pay dividends on a monthly basis. Now, it should go without saying that not all of these different options are created equal, and definitely, of course, do your own research and find the right investments that fit your risk profile, your overall strategy, etc. But I want to hear what you guys think down below. Out of the 5 options that we went over in this video, what is your number 1 favorite monthly paying either dividend stock or dividend paying ETF, and tell us all why down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in the video and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Thanks as always for stopping by, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.